I see that all the time. It's interesting. And the thing is that checklists can be scaffolding as opposed to encaging, right? So they can provide support to the whole process, make sure that you haven't sort of dropped any balls. But checking things off is not the same as, people can be very reductive, right? They're looking for the answer, and I think in asking questions and in checking boxes, it should be the question should be to open things up rather than close them. And I just think of an example right off the top of my head, right? So classic governance question might be the age of the people on the board, say, or, who are they or what, right? And so you might say, well, how come I'm thinking of Oxy right now because there's a proxy fight going on, right? Because people are too old and every time they hit that age, the age limit goes up, right? And so why have rules if you're going to just flout them? But, so to me, the question isn't so much checking the box of, okay, the directors aren't too old, right? To me, the question is, okay, they are. Well, why, right? And rather than scoring it like a -1 because it failed that box, the piece that's relevant to the investment case is, okay, it failed that box, but why, right? Because if you just go through and say, oh, it failed, because then you find out, well, okay, it's because there was a wholesale turnover when the CEO came in, and I know nothing about Oxy, so I'm not saying that's the case here, but CEO comes in and it's all of his buddies, and this is an old school board, not a professional, new school, highly governance-driven board, and then you look at that and you say, okay, well that's interesting, because that's going to have implications for how they run their business, that's going to have an implication about how power is sort of flowing through everything, right? And you need to know that because that's part of the case. And similarly, if something happens that shows change at the all of a sudden maybe 4 guys retire and there's 4 new guys come in, there may have been no change at management, but something's happened, right? And they may not even need an activist shareholder, just something's happened, and there is going to be a change in mindset, and that allows you need to pay attention to change is also really, but you don't know what's changed if you don't know. If you don't have a context, and if you don't sort of already have an opinion about things. So the checking the box, to your point, can be mechanistic, and you say, okay, fine, I've checked all of these, and it's fine. And probably statistically, and you can see this, right, because some of those mechanistic things I've talked about is accounting services, or some, they have a lot of factors, and they score them, and they say, okay, well, these are the dogs, right? And the thing with the dogs is statistically, 2/3 of the time, those dogs, they're right, they're dogs, right? They flunk the checklist and they're dogs. But 1/3 of the time, they're flunking the checklist, but they end up being superb stocks. Because why? That's the opportunity. They're being viewed through the checklist as dogs, right? But there's a reason they're scoring badly, and finding out why, but you only have a 1 in 3 chance of getting it right? So you better know what you're doing and have conviction. But that's where the mechanistic aspect of things can be a danger, and no substitute for thinking, right?